Namaskar, my dear students. Today in the quick review section, we will discuss Facebow or orientation jaw relation in the complete dentures. You often find a short note on Facebow in your theory exam. Facebow is also kept in the Viva tray for the Grand Viva. A few MCQs are framed from this topic that we will discuss. So let's begin. Now, before going to the topic, we all know that the movements of the teeth are the result of the rotation and sliding made by the condyles. Now, for fabrication of any indirect prosthesis, indirect restoration like crowns, bridges, doing the full mouth cases or making the complete dentures, two things we need to duplicate in articulator. First is the distance from the condyles to the teeth or the jaws, and second is the arc of closure of mandible. This will reduce the potential of the occlusal errors in the final prosthesis. Now let us see how. In this picture, if you see, the distance x is the distance of the temporomandibular joint to the arch in the articulator. And in the second picture, the distance y, it represents the distance in the real patient. So the arc of the rotation of the mandible will also be different in both the cases. Now, if x is not equal to y, the interocclusal wedge will also not be equal, and this will lead to the occlusal errors in the final prosthesis. Now, what will Facebow do here? You know, it's practically difficult to orient the mandible to the articulator. So, what we will do? We will orient the maxillary cast to the articulator with same relationship between the maxilla and the condyles of the temporomandibular joint present in the patient. Okay, and this will be done with the help of Facebow. And once the maxillary cast is mounted, the mandibular cast is mounted in relation to the maxillary cast with the help of centric relation record. Now, my dear students, it's easier to understand what a Facebow is. So let us read the definition. Facebow is a caliper-like instrument used to record the spatial relationship of the maxillary arch to some anatomic reference point or points and then transfer this relationship to an articulator. Okay. George B. Snow, he invented a device which became the prototype for the modern Facebow. Now this is one of the MCQ question which is asked. Parts of a Facebow, let us discuss them one by one. First is the U-shaped frame. It forms the main frame of the Facebow. All the other components are attached to this frame. It extends from the region of the temporomandibular joint on one side to the other side without contacting the face. Okay, then comes two small condylar rods are present on the either end of the free end of the U-shaped frame. It will contact the skin over the TMJ. Okay, they are used to locate the hinge axis and transfer it to the articulator. While in some Facebows you will find earpieces instead of these condylar rods, they fit into the external auditory meatus. Okay, then comes the bite fork. It is a U-shaped plate which is attached to the occlusal rims when we are recording the orientation jaw relation. It is attached to the frame with the help of a rod which is called as the stem. Okay, the next is the locking device. This part of the Facebow, it helps to fix the bite fork to the U-shaped frame firmly after recording the orientation jaw relation. Then comes third reference point. It is used to orient the Facebow assembly to an anatomical reference point on the face along with the two condylar reference points. Condylar reference points were the posterior reference point and this third reference point is the interior reference point. It varies in different Facebows. For example, orbital pointer, which is the orbital or the nose piece, in which the nasion is the reference point. Okay, so we will discuss them in detail. Before going to the classification, let us recall terminal hinge axis. When the condyles are in the most superior position in the articular foci and the mouth is purely rotated open, that means while opening the mouth, pure rotation movement is occurring. The axis around which this rotation movement occurs is called as terminal hinge axis. Coming to the classification, this classification is based on the location of the terminal hinge axis. That is why I recall the terminal hinge axis. Now, phasebows can be arbitrary and kinematic. Arbitrary phasebow is based on the average values or the approximate points, and the kinematic phasebow, they locate the exact terminal hinge axis. Okay, so arbitrary phasebows can further be fascia or earpiece. Okay, we will discuss them one by one. First is the arbitrary phasebow. The hinge axis is approximately located in this type of the phasebow. Okay, it uses arbitrary or approximate points suggested by different authors. We take those points as the posterior reference points and place the condylar rods on these points. Okay, now this type of phasebow generally locate the true hinge axis within a range of 5 mm. It is not accurate, and because of this range, it can lead to 0.2 mm error at the second molar area. This is one of the multiple choice question which is asked, and you know this error can be compensated by complete denture because of the real life effect. What is real life effect? Resiliency like effect of the mucosa. Because complete denture is a complete tissue supported prosthesis. So that is why the arbitrary phasebow is most commonly indicated in complete denture construction. It is not ideal for the fixed prosthesis work. Now, what are these approximate points? What are these posterior reference points? Okay, though there are so many, we will discuss two of them which are commonly used. First is the Bayron's point. You know, if a line is drawn from the center of the tragus to the corner of the eye, okay, a point which is 13 mm interior to the posterior margin of the tragus of the ear is called as the Bayron's point. And second is the Bergstrom point. If a line is drawn from the center of the spherical insert of the external auditory meatus to the orbital, it represents the FH plane. So a point which is 10 mm interior to it and 7 mm below the FH plane, it represents the Bergstrom's point. According to the studies, this Bergstrom point is found to be the most frequently closest to the hinge axis, and second most closest is the Bayron's point. And these points are often asked as multiple choice question, and Bayron point is commonly asked in the Viva also. Arbitrary phasebow can be of two types, fascia type and the earpiece type. The fascia type of the phasebow, it uses the approximate points on the skin of the face, as we can see in the picture. This is in the temporomandibular joint. It uses it as the posterior reference points. So the condylar rods are placed on this. What is the main disadvantage? As the phasebow is placed on the skin, which is movable, so there will always be a tendency for the condylar rods to displace. And second, because of this, we will always require an assistant to hold the phasebow in place. Now, talking about the earpiece type, it uses the external auditory meatus as the arbitrary reference point. As we can see in the picture, the earpieces, they are fitted into the external auditory meatus. It is simple to use. It does not require any measurements on the face. Okay, it is as accurate as the other phasebows. Now, it provides an average anatomic dimension between the external auditory meatus and the horizontal axis of the mandible, which is quite reliable. Now, once we have recorded the posterior reference points, okay, we have got two posterior reference points, we want a third interior reference indicator to make a plane. The most common two major reference points that we can use interiorly are, first is the infraorbital pointer. It is in the lowest margin of the infraorbital rim on one side. It is easy to mark and locate. Second is the nasion. As we can see in the picture, it is placed in the deepest part of the midline depression, just below the level of the eyebrows. So these two interior reference indicators we can use. Kinematic Facebow. This Facebow, it locates the exact axis of rotation of the condyles. Let us see how. First, we fabricate a clutch and we attach this clutch tray to the lower teeth, just like we make the impression. Then we assemble the hinge axis locator. We mark approximate center of the condyle on the subject's face and we place a graph paper, as we can see in the picture. Then we ask the patient to open and close such that only the rotational movement takes place. This will locate the exact hinge axis points. Okay, now what is the indication where we will use this kinematic Facebow? Whenever it is critical to precisely reproduce the exact opening and closing movement of the patient to the articulator, then only we will use the kinematic Facebow. Otherwise, arbitrary Facebows are commonly used. Drawback: it consumes more time, and second, they are expensive and technique sensitive as compared to the arbitrary Facebows. Now let us quickly revise what are the differences between the arbitrary Facebow and the kinematic Facebow. First, the arbitrary, from the term itself, it uses arbitrary or approximate measurements to locate the hinge axis. Second, kinematic Facebow, it locates the hinge axis physiologically with exceptional accuracy. Okay, patient is doing the movements and we are recording the hinge axis. Then in the arbitrary, the bite fork is attached to the maxillary occlusal rim, while in the kinematic, the bite fork is attached to the mandibular arch, as we discussed just now. In the arbitrary, it does not require elaborate equipments like the graph paper, making of the clutch, while the kinematic Facebow, it requires specific equipments. Arbitrary Facebow record is easy and quick, while the kinematic Facebow, it requires skill and it is time consuming. The arbitrary Facebow is practically more acceptable, that is why it is more commonly used. While the kinematic Facebow, the advantages are being more theoretical, so it is used less. Now there is one more classification of Facebow according to the mechanism of intercondylar distance equilibration. Okay, we want this intercondylar distance to be equal on both the sides. We have spring bow or the Hanau's Facebow. It is a earpiece type of the Facebow made up of spring steel. As we can see in the picture, it will automatically open and close to various head widths. Second is the calibrated condylar rods. In this, the condylar rods are graduated. There are measurements on it. They are to be adjusted bilaterally until equal readings are achieved on both the sides. Third is the slidomatic Facebow. In this, instead of the condylar rods, the interior horizontal arms of the Facebow has two sliding arms which allow the mediolateral movements till the condylar rods they contact the posterior reference points. Uses of the Facebow. First, where balance occlusion is desired. Failure to use the Facebow, it leads to errors in the occlusion. Second, where the cusp-formed teeth are used, let it be a complete denture or a fixed prosthesis, it will help to give precision. Third, full mouth rehabilitation, very important because we need to reorganize the occlusion in these cases. And last but very important, diagnosis and the treatment planning, especially the challenging cases that need vast prosthetic care and also the cases like orthognathic surgeries. Facebow record. How to do the Facebow record and transfer it to the articulator. Now this is the bite fork of the edentulous with the sharp ends and the other bite fork for the dentulous. We will insert the bite fork in the occlusal rims 2 mm above the occlusal plane so that the plane is not distorted. Then we can use impression compound for the dentulous. With the bite fork in position, the Facebow is guided into the stem of the bite fork and then the earpiece is inserted into the external auditory openings. After this, the orbital pointer, that is the third reference point, is positioned. Thumb screws are tightened in sequence 1, 2, 3. They are numbered. This comes as an MCQ question also. Facebow assembly along with the bite fork is removed from the mouth and positioned in the articulator. Now this transfer can be direct using whole Facebow assembly and moving to the articulator, or it can be the indirect transfer using a transfer zig. Okay, after this we will mount the maxillary cast with the articulator, followed by the mandibular cast mounting with the help of centric relation record. Okay, so now my dear students, you know what is a Facebow, how it is used, what are its various types. So that's all for today's session, my dear students. Please like and share the video. Give your topics in the comments section. I will try to cover them. Subscribe the channel for more learning. Wish you success today and always.